going on, y'all? Back at it again. Now, I did watch that I Am Athlete interview with Cam Newton, and I touched on it a little bit, but I didn't watch the entire thing. And after I watched it, I watched that last night. I watched it again this morning, and well, for those who didn't see it, it was an interview with Brandon Marshall, Chad Johnson, and Fred Taylor. There's a lot of people who don't know who Fred Taylor is. Fred Taylor played running back for the Jaguars. He was a beast too. Like a lot of people forget about Fred Taylor. Before that short dude Jones who played for the Jaguars, it was Fred Taylor. Like Fred Taylor was a beast. Alright, so the interview was I felt very happy that I got to see Cam in a vulnerable state where he can talk amongst dudes that he know and speak about certain situations, about his upbringing and last season and his time in Florida. So I just want to touch on a few things. So one of the other few things that I got that I thought was important was that he spoke about this past season and what happened after the first two games. Cause look, I thought that he played against Miami pretty good for his first game, and he played great against Seattle. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh shit, like this is the old Cam, and then he gets COVID, and then the rest of the season goes down the drain or whatever. So he speaks about that. So Brandon Marshall asked him, what happened after you caught COVID, and he said, he didn't really feel any symptoms besides the smell part. So when he came, by the time he was allowed back in the facilities, everything felt new again. Like he had a bunch of new stuff thrown at him, and he felt like he didn't feel like himself before each play. And I'm like, you know what? That's it. Like the entire time I'm thinking, look, like he don't have the playmakers. Like this is his first year with the team, and like this is all new to him. And the whole time after I watched it the second time, I'm like, yo, Cam Newton fell behind. He was behind the entire season. Yes, it's true that Cam Newton didn't have a lot of weapons. He didn't have any weapons, honestly. And it's also true that he didn't have a lot of time at camp. Because here's the difference between Cam Newton and Tom Brady when they signed their deals for the new team. When Tom Brady signed his deal, it was in the middle of March. So he had 3 months before July to get together with his receivers and Gronk. Like he spent time with them. Cam Newton spent the entire offseason not knowing where he's going. So with Cam didn't sign to the Patriots until early July. I think it was July the 8th, I think. So he only had but a month and a half or but a month to get ready for the season. When Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, but let's be honest, that team was loaded with receivers and tight ends. It was absolutely loaded. So much loaded that he got 2 more guys to, matter of fact, 3 more guys. You know what I'm saying? So he had Gronk, he had Fournette, then he brought in Antonio Brown. Yes, it was halfway through the season, but he got him there. So getting back to the interview, so I just felt like me hearing Cam talk about how he felt, it just felt like he was behind the entire time. He was learning a new system, and that time off that he took from, it was COVID and he wasn't allowed in the building, he just fell behind because he was already going into an offense that was going to be totally new to him. He didn't get there until July, and then he plays 2 weeks and he misses, and then he misses 2 more games. No, he misses the Chiefs game. After that week, like, Cam just fell behind, and that game when he came back, it showed. It honestly really showed, but at the time I didn't know. I was like, yo, he's getting over COVID. We don't know what his symptoms were, but the entire time it was just him being far. He was too far behind with the offense. Now I will say this though, even though Tom Brady played in that exact same system for 20 years, when Cam got there, it was a whole new playbook surrounded by him. Well, for him. But I kind of also get, because he didn't have the receivers to do what Tom Brady did when he was there. You see, Tom Brady, Tom Brady got the success that he got the year before he left was because he knew the system. Now, I'm like in my head, I'm thinking like the whole season, I'm like, yo, they're doing so many trick plays and double passes and all that, and I'm like, why is he doing this? Why is Coach Belichick doing this? Like, I swear it was a new trick play every other week. But I get it now. Cam Newton didn't fully understand the offense. He was too far behind to really catch up until it was too late. So, look, hopefully, if Coach Belichick wants to bring him back, then I hope that happens. But Cam, hopefully it happens. But another part I want to get to was his time in Florida. I didn't find out that he was the backup with Tim Tebow until he got to Auburn, and then they showed him being the backup for Tim Tebow, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know he was in Florida, but man, Florida had a fucking squad, like the Pouncey brothers, Brandon Spikes, but Percy Harvin. Look, they're right when they say that there's no Tim Tebow without Percy Harvin. What I didn't like is when they said that Tim Tebow is the greatest college player of all time. And for him to have so many, like, he had first round draft picks surrounding him. And for me to think that I don't think Tim Tebow was the greatest college player of all time. He was just surrounded by the greatest team of all time. That was a dynasty. I think they made it to the national championship 3 times, I think, and they won it twice. And Tim Tebow won his Heisman trophies, but it was real interesting to hear about Cam and how he transferred to a junior college, won the national championship there, then went to Auburn, won the Heisman and the national championship there. I think it was weird that they never gave Cam Newton a shot in Florida, but with Tim Tebow winning the Heisman trophies, what can you say about him? But it was also good to hear about Aaron Hernandez, / Chico, and how they felt about him. And honestly, I didn't know anything about Aaron Hernandez except for the bad things that they'll say about him. Of course, I wouldn't know him personally, and then it was interesting when Fred Taylor said, "Yeah, I spoke to him the night before he quote unquote killed himself," and now that leaves me even more puzzled as to, well, goddamn, did he actually really kill himself? Like, I'm not gonna get into the stories of what they were talking about Chico. Now look, I'm saying Chico, but Aaron Hernandez, and it was like, okay, well, if you spoke to Aaron the night before he died and he was in good spirits, then what was the cause of his death then? I mean, look, I honestly didn't believe that he never killed himself. I always believed that somebody killed him. That's what I always believed. But then, stories were coming out that, yeah, like, he killed himself in order for his daughter to get money. And I'm like, I honestly don't believe he was thinking that far ahead. I don't believe that. So, with that story, then another thing that was real interesting to me was he spoke about his business. And it's crazy now that he talks about his hat business that, even in Carolina, when he would always wear his funny hats and his funny outfits, not knowing that I thought he was just dressing like that but to dress up. And this whole time he was branding himself. He was creating a business for himself. And I think that, me hearing that, I think that's totally dope. He brought out one of his hats where it had it had a card of Rosa Parks on the side, and then inside the hat it had the face of Rosa Parks, and then it had the saying on the other side of the hat, and it says "Not today." I thought that was pretty cool. And he said it launched on the 15th of February of this month, so it's out already. So I may look into that. And he also has a cigar lounge in Atlanta, where he's from, because he said he loves to smoke cigars. But one of my favorite parts of the interview was when he said that it ain't 32 quarterbacks better than him. That's the fucking Cam Newton I like, because I don't think there is. Like, I think you may have to think about it, but Drew Lock ain't better than Cam Newton. Nobody from the Jaguars quarterback ain't better than him. Sam Darnold ain't better than Cam Newton.